Before the world was ever formed, God knew exactly where he was going to place it in the universe. He knew that it was going to be a North Pole and a South Pole, and it was going to rotate, and how it would orbit around the sun. That it would be a night and it would be a day. And the moment that he completed everything, from creating the men, the fowls in the air, the insect, the bugs, the flowers, the herbs, everything that we see, from the snow and the mountain, everything that God created, the moment he said that it was complete, he knew at that precise time the position of the sun, how it will be shining upon the earth. Ephesians 1 and 4. According as he had chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. We are citizens of the kingdom of God. And it wasn't of our choosing. God is the one that chose us, that called us, that appointed us to be part of his family. And all of this was done before he created the world. Now, everything is preordained when it comes to your life. Everything. From the day that you were born, your birthday was chosen by God. And you didn't have anything to do with it. He even chose the country that you will be born in. He knew the state that you will be in. He knew the town that you will be in. He knew what hospital you will be in. Even if you wasn't born in a hospital, he knew exactly how you was going to enter into this world. He even picked out your family. Your mom, your dad, he picked them out. Because he knows the type of environment that you need to be in as you grow up. Because there are some things you have to learn from both. The do's and the don'ts. Even the house that you was raised. The way that you was raised. Whether you're in a boarding school or you're in a foster home. However way is preordained by God. You see, he even chose the elementary school that you will be going to. And all the teachers that you will encounter along the way. Some of your teachers will be in the classroom. Some of your teachers will be out on the basketball team. Some of your teachers will be at the church. Some of your teachers will be in different places. But God knows exactly who to send your way to teach you what you need at that moment. He even went a little bit further. All the things that you learned as you was growing up, even from going to college and all of these different things and the skills that you learn, these skills that you have obtained, that is within you, it was not of your doing. You did not choose the skills that you obtained. You desired them, and you desired to do those things because he placed those desires within you. You see, all of these selections are by God because of the way that he is going to use you. because of the way you need to be developed. Because it's a major part of who your outcome will be. Whatever is in you, whatever has been instilled in you, it's going to flourish and it's going to prosper because you have a good heart. And you will bless many people in the kingdom of God along the way with the gift that God has given unto you. Now let's talk about this thing called time. It is such a wonderful gift that God had created for mankind to be governed by. Every single thing that you see, it has a place in time. And it is to ensure that you will be able to enjoy the wondrous beauty of all the things that God have created for such a time as this. Have you ever noticed a flower that bloomed in the spring? It had its appointed time to come forth so that your eyes can behold every single flower that you see. God did that. He orchestrated it. He made sure you was in position to see the flowers. He made sure you was in position to see the rain, to see the snow, to see the plane flying over your head, to see the birds flying in the air. He is the one that calls you, enables you to have the pet that you have, whether it's a cat or a dog or a piglet or a frog. God is the one that did these things. He did it for his good pleasure, because he takes pleasure in seeing that his children, his beloved, the one that he called from the foundation of the world, he takes pleasure in everything that you do as you do it as unto him. Jesus made his entrance at the right appointed time. You know, he had his precise timing as well. And that was for purpose. God set it up for him to enter into the world, clothed in human flesh. Jesus said to God before the world was ever formed, he said, create me a body. Because when God created time, he searched through time. He searched through eternity and realized that there was no one was suitable to die for the sins of the world. So Jesus said, create me a body, I'll go. So he was our last sacrificial offering for the atonement of sin. Now, believe it or not, you also was born into this world for a specific task. God created you and called you out from among a people. When it was time for you to come forth, he called you out. You had this drawing, you had this pulling, you had this yearning that he had given you because it was time for you to come. It was time for you to say, yes, Lord. And upon him calling you, he has given you a task. If you don't know what your task is, ask him. Ask him. Jesus came to set the captive free, to redeem God's people. And that calls a reconciliation. So the question that I have here for you today is, will you participate in the Freedom Act? Jesus participated in the Freedom Act. He was here to teach people and let people know through the act that have taken place, that he was about to take place on the cross, it was to set them free from the law of sin and death. Help me. Help me as we're being led by the Spirit of God to cry out, to blow the trumpet, and share the good news. Blow your trumpet. Don't hold back what God has given unto you. For what you have in you is more precious than gold. So shout unto the mountaintop. Let the people know what God has done for them. That he had placed them in a position to come back unto him, to be reconciled with him. For he loved his creation. He loved his people. You are one of those that are called by God to do a work. Don't hold back what God has given you. Much is given, much is required of you. Help bring those out of darkness into the marvelous light and life that God has planned for them. But they won't know about it unless they hear a voice, unless they hear someone teaching and preaching and letting them know what God has done for them. Moses was one of those people that God raised, that God taught him. He went to the best of the best schools. He had the best teachers around him. He grew up in a palace. He grew up around kings and princes. He knew the protocol on how to enter into the room where the king was at. He knew what to do and what not to do. Moses was raised very skilled, very learned, very educated, because he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter. He fled from that place because he killed a man, and he left the premises. He left the city, he left the town, and he went far, far away. And then he stumbled up on a bush that was burning, but it wouldn't go out. So he was inquisitive, and he went to the bush. And God spoke to him and told him that he had to go back and tell Pharaoh to let his people go. See, God had equipped him, got him prepared, and got him ready. Well, Pharaoh loved Moses. He loved him more than his own son. He loved Moses. Even though Moses had a stuttering problem, he loved Moses. And God told Moses, he said, I need you to go back. And you need to tell Pharaohs. See, he couldn't go, if he was just any ordinary man, he couldn't go in there. But because the way he was raised, and because the way you are raised, God got things specifically planned for you to act upon. He got it planned for you. There are things that you can do that nobody else can do because God gave that task to you. So Moses had to go. and obey God. And when Moses did that, eventually Pharaohs couldn't do nothing but let the people go. And then there is Jonah. Jonah, who was in this big fish for 3 days because he refused to obey God. He was trying to run and hide from God. You can't hide from God. God is omnipresent. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. There's no way you can hide from God. He knows the things you're going to do even before you do it. So for 3 days, he was in this huge fish. And this fish spit him out on an island. And he was close to the destination that God has told him to go to. He had to walk 3 days to get there, but still he was in proximity of the place where God had assigned him. And once he got there, he preached to the people. And when he preached to the people, they repented and they turned from their wicked ways. Out of obedience, Jonah set the people free. Free to get in the right standard with God. And you know I can't leave out Jesus. All the things that Jesus has done. He came to show us the compassionate side of God. He was the one that was opening up the blinded eyes. See, sickness was not for us. When God created man, sickness was not part of the design for us to dwell in and to be in and to live in and to have upon our bodies. So Jesus came doing good, opening up the blinded eyes, fixing where the dumb can talk and the deaf can hear and the lame can walk. He was on an assignment, but his ultimate assignment was to die on the cross, to be that sacrificial offering for the entire world. Will you be obedient unto God? Will you take on your assignment? All you have to do is talk to people. Jesus even talked to a lady at the well. It was a one-on-one thing. He didn't always talk to people in a crowd. You don't have to have a crowd in front of you to speak, to share, to tell people about the good news. All we're doing is talking about the good news of what God has done for his creation, for his people, for his beloved. And I say unto you, with all sincerity, give God all the glory. Give God all the praise, because you are his beloved. He did call you. And until that day comes, walk in peace, walk in love, walk in joy.